When the Lord was about to take Elijah up to heaven in a whirlwind, Elijah and Elisha were on their way from Gilgal. Elijah said to Elisha, "Stay here, the Lord has sent me to Bethel." But Elisha said, "As surely as the Lord lives and as you live, I will not leave you." So they went down to Bethel. This is the first week of making disciples.
When I was a child, I always loved my father. He was a great dad, but I didn't think he was that cool. I wanted to be like Art Monk of the Washington Redskins. Oh man, was he great. Or I wanted to be like my youth pastor. He was a really neat guy, cool guy. But yet now that I'm 36 years old, and I haven't lived in my home for almost 20 years, I find myself more like my dad today than I do like Art Monk, than I do like MC Hammer, he was another one, than I do like my youth pastor. And I begin to think why. If I didn't value what my dad brought to the table when I was a teenager, I knew he was smart, but I didn't think he was that cool. Why am I so much like him today? And as I began to think about it, it's because we ate dinner together every night. I went to work in his office. I cleaned his office, so I went to work with him. We went on family vacations together. We worked out in the yard together. In other words, we did everything together. So even though in my mind I didn't want to learn anything from him, I thought I was so smart, I was learning, and I was being discipled by him without even knowing it. And that's both in the good and the bad ways. My father's a great man, but I picked up the good things, and the bad things. I still like candy in my desk and snacks and all that, just like my dad. But the truth is that I was being discipled by spending so much time with him. And when we look to the life of Elijah and Elisha, when we look to the life of Jesus and the disciples, that was the model of discipleship. It was not only teaching them everything they've learned, but it was spending time with. It was absorbing through osmosis every little nuance, so that when Jesus ascended into heaven, the disciples were more like Jesus than they thought. When Elijah was taken up in a whirlwind to heaven, Elisha was more like Elijah than even he knew. And that's why I would say this is the most important discipleship relationship, a mother-daughter, a father-son, because whether you like it or not, discipleship happens here.
Then Elisha took the cloak that had fallen from Elijah and struck the water with it. "Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" he asked. When he struck the water, it divided to the right and to the left, and he crossed over. The company of the prophets from Jericho who were watching said, "The spirit of Elijah is resting on Elisha." And they went to meet him and bowed to the ground before him. If you would like more information on .W Evangelical Church, check out dotheword.org.
Hear the word, do the word. .W